Hey guys, welcome back to my humble workshop. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I'm about to do with this soundboard. I just finished taking off its old bracing. It's a traditional Soviet-era guitar made in the Soviet Union. As you may have already watched from my previous videos, I restore such guitars, completely removing its bracing. And then I show the difference between these guitars in terms of their sound, trying to come up with the best bracing for such guitars to restore them in future. I've made a number of soundboards so far. They are all different, but they all have fan bracing here. But today in the morning, when browsing through YouTube, I stumbled across a very interesting channel from the United States, from America. It's called The Guitar Collection. And in the episode I watched today, this guy, if my memory serves, his name is Evan. By the way, sorry if you are watching me if I mixed up your name. Well, and he showed a very interesting guitar from Australia, made by Simon Marty. You may have heard about this luthier. I know him because he was guitarist in here in Belarus and in Russia, like Australian luthiers. I saw a number of guitars from Australia. Pavel Kuchta plays a guitar made by Zatek. Pavel Shamshura plays the guitar made by Gnatek. And I know that Irina Alexandrova, a very famous guitarist from Russia, plays Simon Marty. What is interesting about this guitar, as the author of this channel showed, is its interesting soundboard bracing. It's not lattice like many Australian luthiers make. It's a so-called, how he called it, radial bracing. It's like when you have a long brace here under the bridge, and then you have 5 rays coming from it downward and 5 coming upward. He said it's like cat whiskers, so maybe, but in our country this type of bracing is called spider. I've recently bought an unidentified guitar. I showed it in one of my previous videos. It also has this type of bracing inside. I will now show it to you. I'll put a light bulb inside the guitar, turn off the light, and you will see what it looks like. I hope you can see this well. So I doubt if this guitar comes from Australia. I think it's more like a copycat made in Belarus or in Russia. But you know, this kind of coincidence that I viewed a video about such a guitar and remembered that I have one, made me try and make my own soundboard in this way. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you now. Of course, this guitar is not going to be something like Simon Marty's, but I think it's going to be an interesting instrument, and I'm looking forward to comparing it with some other guitars that I finished or I'm about to finish. So let's see. And the first step of making this bracing is making 3 parallel braces, long braces, that I will make curved. They will be convex. The idea is to make the soundboard bend like a bow. It will be kind of an arch top, but not this archtop that gypsy jazz is played on. This will be a traditional soundboard with a sound hole here, not like in this gypsy jazz archtops Fs, but it will have this pronounced arc. What is the idea behind this? I started doing it for many of my guitars, is to create tension, to make sound more like projected, intensified, and also it will allow me to make the soundboard thin, and it will withstand strings tension. So not only bracing will work here in this way to resist the strings tension, but this arc also will add additional strength to the soundboard. So guys, let's get started. First, I take a spruce board, crack it along the grain, and then shape braces. I'll use this one as the longest one. It's better to avoid using knots in bracing, because in such places it's fatigue and it may crack. Since we are not going to make our braces very thick like a log, it's better to choose parts with no knots, with straight grain. Now I'm going to roughly shape it with a big plane. It should be something like 9 millimeters thick, almost. I'll now use a more kind of precise plane to make its surface neat and smooth. Well, now that we've made its sides parallel to each other and an appropriate width, let's now work on the surface that will be adjacent to the soundboard. And I'm going to, now it's flat, but I'm going to make it curved in a way that when you put it down here, there will be gaps 5-6 millimeters from each side. I don't have any templates. I will visually control it, but it's going to be more like round, not like a parable, not like something else, more like round. Well, now it's shape done, something like 5 millimeters here and 5 millimeters here. And what I'm going to do, I will, when gluing, I will press it with cloth pegs at each side, and I should and I need to be sure that there is no gap all along the brace. It will be glued, shifted from its initial position upward a little bit like this. Here are some pieces of binding left. I'm going to cut them off. A little bit more here. Almost. Yeah, now you can see there is no gap along the brace. And what I'm going to do now, to make it tapering, to make it like a triangle in its section, it won't affect its strength, but it will make it lighter, and it will make the guitar soundboard respond better when playing the guitar. It's going to be like this, like a truncated triangle at its top, like a roof, a house with a roof. Nice. And the next episode is to make kind of saddles here, where it will be cut into the sides. It will be something like this. I'll use our chisel for doing this. I noticed that usually luthiers do this when the brace is already glued to the soundboard, but I need to do it beforehand because the way I'm pressing it requires such thing. I'll show you later. I'll use a cloth peg for this. The chisel needs sharpening. And then when gluing it, I'll use cloth pegs like this. And now the final, say, technological operation is to make it smooth with sandpaper. I know that good luthiers voice their soundboards cutting pieces of the braces away, but I have to confess this business is lost on me. I don't know what I should hear. The only way I say voice my soundboard is tapping, listening if it's bounce at every place, and sometimes cut off parts of this body itself to make it thinner and to respond better. So our first brace is ready. Nice, smooth, beautifully shaped. Now I'm going to make in the same way 2 other braces and glue them, and this will be it for today. And then the next day I'll make these rays to create this so-called either spider or cat whiskers, like radial bracing by Simon Marty. So I'm here again. The first step is finished. Yesterday I glued these 3 braces to this on board. Now I'm going to remove this load that was used to press central parts. Here are my cloth bags. That helps me a lot. Here is what my spider bracing is going to be. It's glued quite well. Let's see what shape it's going to be. Like this. Quite a pronounced arc. This is not my invention. I heard it from different luthers that it helps to reach better sound. Soundboard is not flat. You can make it thinner. It works the same way like in architecture. Some pieces of spruce. I think I can make 2 pieces from 2 braces from this board, or even 3. I think even 3. So let's begin the same way. We will make it more or less straight first. I'm making it so tapering that at one end here it will almost disappear. spruce is very soft, so you can easily work with it, sand it, plane it, but you should be careful. If you apply too much pressure, it may crack. Let's now make an angle at this end. I'll bet to use file. So this is what my first brace is going to look like. Like this. And now I'm going to make the 9 others right in the same way. So here is what we have so far. Oh, I like this smell so much. Here is a knot. There is much resin here. This spruce resin, I like it. When you work with pine, it smells even more. Even when you're just planing it, it has very pleasant smell. Spruce doesn't smell here, only knots. My braces here are very tall and thin, like a knife blade. I know that very famous luthier from Chernigiv, Ukraine, Mykola Yeshchenko, used to build guitars in the same way, as well as his nephew Vadim. And the final step is to make it smooth with sandpaper. So here is what my spider looks like. And before gluing it, I'll make 2 more braces to reinforce the sound hole. Usually when your soundboard is thin, it may crack here. To prevent it from cracking, I'll put 2 braces in here. This thread is too long. I need to make it shorter, but to avoid cracking, I use these movements with the file from one side, from the other side, because if you do like this, you'll crack it. beautiful thing. So guys, now that the sound hole reinforcement is made, I will proceed to glue my freshly minted bracing. But first I need to tidy up a little bit. By the way, I want to share my way how I apply glue when pieces of wood are very narrow, to avoid putting glue all over around the working surface. I'll use a syringe. I'm going to use a syringe to apply glue on narrow braces. I'm a bit clumsy, man, so I have to be extremely careful here not to make dirty spots all around. So guys, let's see what my spider bracing looks like now when the glue has solidified. Yeah, looks all right. I like it. You know, the last procedure I'm going to do is to make this brace lower. And I realized, according to my logic, it shouldn't lean on the guitar's sides. So I'll make it shorter and less high. Let's not put something under it. Something soft. Something like this. And now some fine sandpaper. So guys, that's it. I've finished making this radial bracing. Thank you, the Guitar Collection channel, for prompting me to do this. Wish you prosperity. I like to watch your videos. Thank you to Simon Marty, who is allegedly the author of this system, or something similar. Well, I'm curious to compare this guitar with my other instruments. I'm now looking forward to finishing this guitar and recording a video where I record side by side different parts of the same piece played on different guitars. I think I'll do it in a month or two. It takes time to finish a guitar. So if you have something to share with me, please write down your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this? Anyway, for now, that's it. Thanks for watching. Wish you luck, guys. Take care. Bye bye.